building. So say Kalamba, Ho, Shimi Hawashai, Shima Katabash, the honest, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, the do who wants to help. So your brother here, Shemashman Bon Judah. And today we're just gonna get into some topics today. A lot of things on in the news. Touching on whatever else touches my fancy, or whatever else I feel is necessary for us to go ahead and talk about. And yeah, so let's get that out, because yesterday I made a video on de-dollarization and basically how the BRICS nations like Brazil, Russia, China, India, and then the other nations that are with them, which are very numerous. The BRICS nations are talking about creating their own currency. They're talking about de-dollarization. They're talking about ending U.S. hegemony over the world and domination over the world. So, first things first, I'm going to go here, turn on to my Bluetooth, go back to Safari, and see if we can get some pings here. Let me turn this off because I don't need to see notifications right now. I want to see my bandwidth. Just wait here at the startup and we'll go into it. Yep. See here, gmail.com. Perhaps we'll start off with Habakkuk, the second chapter, while this loads. Let's start off with Habakkuk chapter 2. While this loads in, because Habakkuk is pretty much the preface to this lesson, so we'll just start off with the precept first. I was supposed to boot the stuff up yesterday so that I could open up our read only. So we're here, Haggai, Zephaniah, where is Habakkuk? Zechariah, Malachi is the last book. Zephaniah. I'm pretty sure should be. I'm gonna have to look this up in the table of contents because I lost what this is. Habakkuk is 12:02. 12:02. Habakkuk is 12:02. So right before Zephaniah. Okay. So this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. Right? I'll stand upon my watch and set upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me. Thou shalt answer when I am reproved. The Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make a plan upon tables that he may run that readeth it. So that's what we do. We put the information out there so that you brothers can go out there and go teach. And there's something important about that word run, which I'm going to go take a look at here. Give me a second. I'm just going to get out of my alleys. Alright. I'm reading the preface right now. Habakkuk, it seems, was right before the Babylonians came and took us down. So, this is Habakkuk 2. We go here. This is the wrong email here. Let's see if we can open up this email. Alright, so this is Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. Right, Habakkuk to the 2. And 2 wants me to set right the vision and make it plain upon tables, and hate me run that readeth it. Right, plain upon tables, break down the scriptures. And the word for run, right, is Baltazar, which means break down, you know, bring hastily, post, right, or carry the news, post word, right, tell what's going on in the world to reflect the name and report on it, right. So that's pretty much what we do out here. We teach so that you guys can go out there and you can start teaching, right. Verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, that the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come. It will not tarry. Now here, the 3rd verse says it will surely come. This is the word lie. That's what that word means. So that, you know, get a little bit more understanding. Right? Not lie. Kazab, to tell, be a liar, we found a liar, be in vain. Alright, it shall not lie pretty much means like an actual lie, you know? Like you have the words lie, like lie down. But I'm gonna go lie down for a second. But this one means lie as in literal be a lie, you know? This vision is not a lie. It's gonna come at an appointed time when it'll come down upon the earth. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in thyself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand this very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there should be some earthquakes and upwars in the world, which is happening, when you see earthquakes and upwars in the world, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High speaking these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Right, Genesis, the 1st chapter. The 2nd chapter talks about how the Most High was walking the cool of the day. That word for cool of the day is a prophetic spirit. You know, there's basically a prophetic spirit around back then. You know, so the prophets have always been around, even from the beginning, even from Adam, Eve. Always been, you know, those men that had those prophetic spirits on them, the prophets, right? You know, Amos 3 and 7, you know, Lord, there's nothing but he surely reveals the secrets to the servants, the prophets, right? And prophets makes to speak before, right? We don't need this. For now, we'll just continue reading normally. I don't want to use this as a crutch, so. This is the book of Habakkuk chapter 2. Verse 3, verse 4, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Right? So it's talking about Esau, Edom here. Right? The soul is talking about him. Actually, we'll just go keep it basic. Malachi 1 and 1. Right? Malachi was around, I think. Second here. Always got to have the Hallies on deck. Hallies got to always be on deck. It helps. So Malachi's exact date, this is Hallies Bible Handbook, page 384. Malachi's exact date is not known. It's generally accepted that he lived nearly 100 years after Haggai and Zechariah, right? That he was associated with Ezra and Nehemiah and their reforms. They say that too. So these days approximately placed at 450 to 400 BC. Reuben had returned from captivity 536 BC under the leadership of Haggai and Zechariah. They able to build the temple right? This whole thing with Cyrus, 520 to 516. Then 60 years later, 457, Ezra came to help reestablish the nation, right? Then 13 years later, Nehemiah came and rebuilt the wall, right? That was 444. Thus in Malachi's time, the Jews had been home from Babylon about 100 years, cured by the captivity of their idolatry, but prone to neglect the house of the Most High. The priests had become lax and degenerate. Sacrifices were inferior, tithes were neglected. The people have reverted to their old practices, intermarrying with adulterous neighbors. Ezra 9. Oh yeah, that happened afterwards. Yeah, So Jews favored of God above all nations, discouraged by their weakness, and wedded to their sins, had settled down in a lethargic state of mind, awaiting the coming of the promised Messiah, which is true. Malachi was showing that the Messiah would come, but that would mean judgment for such as they. Absolutely. And yeah, that's Malachi 3rd chapter. Malachi 3rd chapter is all about that. You know, so they're absolutely right. Correct. So, Ezra prophesied of that as well. The second Ezra. So, you know, I'm pretty sure second Ezra is the only time pretty much Yahushua's name is used verbatim. You know, it's the only time you see the second Ezra. I believe the 3rd chapter, but honestly, you should read the whole chapter, the whole book. You know, I'm on I'm up to chapter 13 now, getting up to 14. You know, I've just been reading it here and there, and then looking at breakdowns, getting understanding. Right. So then it should speak and not lie. Right. So yeah. So behold, his soul which is lifted up is not right in him, but the just shall live by his faith. And then I went to go to Malachi, so we know he's around the times after you return from Babylon, right? This is the context of the chapter. So Malachi, chapter 1, 39, to the 1 and 1, word of the Lord, the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. And burden basically means prophecy. I have loved you, yet I love you, saith the Lord. You say, wherein hast thou loved us? Is not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I love Jacob. You know, and a lot of people were talking about that because, you know, we were in a low position, you know, back then. You know, our people are in the same kind of mind today. You know, they ask, let's read again. I have loved you, saith the Lord. You say, wherein hast thou loved us? Right? We always question the Lord's love. We don't think that the Lord loves us because we're in such a low state, you know, because of the curses. But he absolutely does, right? He's pretty much proves it by saying, hey, you know, it's not Esau, Jacob's brother. Yeah, I love Jacob. I chose Jacob, right? It's not Esau, Jacob's brother, said the Lord. Yeah, I love Jacob, you know. So even though Esau has the power right now, you know, the Lord chose and loved Jacob. You know, he chose him from the beginning, right? And the promise passed on to Jacob, not to Esau either. I mean, that's a blessing too, man. If Esau got the blessing, he would just destroy humanity. I mean, there's a reason why in every single show these guys write, they always have a character try to destroy the world or something. And that's just the way they think. It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9. Certainly the same places forward to Enoch, to Adam, Ezra something I'm looking for here. Maybe it's the 3rd chapter. Let me quick second. Yep. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 3, verse 1 to 15. And made an everlasting covenant with him, promised him that thou wouldst never forsake his seed, talking about Abraham. And unto him thou gavest Isaac, and unto Isaac thou gavest Jacob and Esau. As for Jacob, thou didst choose him to be and put by Esau, and so Jacob became a great multitude. Right? So that's pretty much what it is. You know, the Lord chose Jacob and put by Esau, put Esau off to the side. You know, another one I'm thinking of is Jacob is the beginning. Esau is the end of the world, but Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. But I thought I highlighted this by now, but I don't think I did. So let me know, thou weepest, salvation. Liest, not only, then with the world. I'm gonna look it up. I can't find this off of memory. Alright, so this is, this book is 6 and 9, not 9. Oh, I don't know what I was thinking. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 9, right? Actually, I'll start here. This book of 2nd Ezra, 6, verse 7. And as I said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, or what shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth, right? So how long a period of time will divide the ages, right? When will the first age end and the second age begin, the age where we have the rulership, right? Verse 8, the answer said to Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, which, you know, did happen. And that was a symbol of, you know, Jacob's name, you know, for one being means supplanter, you know, which means someone that's able to like get one over on you, you know, someone's like a victor over you, right? Getting the victory, right? And even though, you know, it talks about that, right? He shall bruise thy head, but thou shalt bruise his heel. Roughly, if we paraphrase, we're going to be the one that's going to take him down in the end, you know, through Yahweh Shai, and the angels, you know, and all the brothers, you know, we're going to get the victory. Verse 9, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. You know? And the word for world is age. The word for world is an age. So I'm going to go ahead and get Genesis, the 3rd chapter, because why not? Genesis chapter 3. To eat. Yeah, so oh no. I actually broke this down wrong. This is Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. And I'll put enmity between thee and the woman, between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Okay, so the breakdown is, right, it's the hatred between us and Edom, right, as you know, it's still around. They're around the time of the Romans. There's a reason why people like Marcus Agrippa were basically like family. I believe it was Augustus Caesar, who was the Caesar at the time. You know, Marcus Agrippa was basically like best friends with him. You know, he was raised with him. And basically all buddy. You know, why do you think so? Because the same people. They knew full well, right? And pretty much talking about between us, right? Bruise that head ultimately, right? The Israelites will end Edom, and flesh will bruise his heel, right? Which means he bruised our heel. And Esau brought us down, but we'll rise again. And that's really symbolic of how, in the end, we held the heel first when we were born. And that was just a symbol, as though he shall bruise us. We're the one that's gonna grab them and pull them down in the end. It's like if you ever wrestled, or played any sort of combat sport. I played rugby, right? If someone grabs your ankles, you'll go straight down. It's actually a type of tackle, ankle tackle. So that was that. So yeah, he chose us. That's basically what I said. I just completely lost my train of thought, right? Oh no, I didn't. Habakkuk, we were in the book of Malachi. Right, this book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 3. I hated Esau, and laid his mountains to waste, made his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Right? And pretty much this is talking about what the Babylonians prophecy has to do with Babylon. Because Babylon apparently spoiled Edom as well. As he took us down, he took them down as well. So Esau got backstabbed. But yeah. So Malachi chapter 1, stealing for Hatians. 2 or 3 are quoted in Romans 9 and 10, 13 as applying God's choice to Jacob rather than Esau. Oh dang, still chose. Why is that in the New Testament? What do you think? And that old chapter proves that's all about us too. Pretty sure now one talks about how Apostle Paul is a tribe of Benjamin. Malachi uses the language as referring to two nations that sprang from Jacob and Esau, Israelites and Edomites. Both have been destroyed by the Babylonians. Israel had been restored. Edom was still a desolation. The offering of the seasoned blemished animals, which they would not have dared to offer to the governor, was in reality an insult to the Most High against his Malachi visions today, when the God who was least despised will become the blood God of the whole earth. That's verse 11. Let's put this back in. That's on one level there, but also, there was many times when Esau, Edom was in ruin. That's just one of them. There was times in the Persians where they weren't doing too hot, and then pretty much after the Hasmonean dynasty rose up, the Edomites were conquered by the Nabateans, and they got put pretty down, pretty low. But over time, we started to make deals with Edom because John Hyrcanus, he forcibly converted Edomites, made them follow our ways. And that's pretty much the original time when we started to have contact with our people and start to learn, our ways. So I don't really understand the Talmud and this stuff, where it has stuff like a Gentile that learns the truth is liable to be put to death. No, you're not. I mean, nowadays, no Gentile, other nations can learn the truth. But Gentile who they're gonna get the truth later on. That's what I'm trying to say. That's was it Isaiah the 2nd chapter? We don't gotta get it, but alright. So Malachi chapter 1, right? As I was saying, verse 4. Right, there's been many times where they were down and low. Dark Ages, we took them down. Spain, all those regions of Sicily, places like that. We took them down. Italy, they were in a very low position. We ruled over them. The Moors went southern Italy, and we still had some Edomites like the north, but I'm pretty sure we still ran them too, to a lesser degree. We still ran over the whole tributaries, but the ones in the south, they got their, they got taken down. That's why I say the Italians to the south, they look more black. You know, they have more so-called Negro appearances. They have darker skin tone, kind of tannish. They have more curlier kind of hair. They look like so-called light skin Jews. You know, right? So now verse 4, where Edom says, "We are impoverished, we will return and build desolate places, to say the Lord of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down. They shall call them the border of your wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord has indignation forever." Now that reminds me, the Lord said about Amalek, the Lord will do war with him from generation to generation. The Lord is never with that nation, man. He's always going to be against that nation no matter what. You know, and pertaining to Obadiah 1 and 18, Esau is pretty much going to be destroyed. He will be put in slavery for 1,000 years. You got to go back to Revelation 20th chapter. Put in slavery 1,000 years, 1,000 years up. They're pretty much going to be erased from the earth, and they'll reincarnate with the rest of the nations. And then they come back as somebody come back as a Elamite, might come back as a Japhite, or who knows? They'll just come back as another nation. They'll get their skin color back, essentially. You know, their souls will be spread apart in other nations, right? Because you know that you know, pretty much souls don't go anywhere. Souls aren't destroyed. The Lord isn't going to destroy souls. You know, all souls are pretty much a part of Him. Right? We call the Lord the Father and spirits. Right? All spirits, souls are part of Him. Right? And pertaining to 2nd Ezra, I think 4:41. You know, the pretty much roughly paraphrasing, it talks about how the womb of a woman is like the chambers of souls in heaven. Heaven is basically just a chamber of souls. Your soul goes up there, you stay there for a certain amount of time. About every 3 to 4 generations, you come back down and you die. You know, now you can come back in your family line, which I think is typical, right? But you can also come back in a different line completely, you know, right? Because you got people like Abba Bivens, right? Which I think Elijah was originally like a Benjamite or something. I think John the Baptist might have been a Levite. And then he came back down again as a Judite. So you come back down in different lines, but you always still be in the same people. So you always be in the same lineage. So that's pretty much that, right? People against the Lord has indignation, but the Lord is not with these people. It's because the soul is not upright in it, essentially. Right? It's not right. So, we can get another precept, Isaiah 14, and then we'll perhaps get into this article finally and speak on it. This is the book of Isaiah, 14th chapter. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14. Bondage. Yeah, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14. And this is pretty much talking about Babylon, which was America, man. I'll start here, verse 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. Let's start verse 3. It shall come to pass in the day that the Lord give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve, right? And where do we serve hard bondage? Here in America, right? We serve hard bondage right here, right? In Isaiah 1 and 10, you know, where it was told to you that you're not the children of the Most High, there you should be told that you are the children of the Most High, roughly paraphrasing, right? So it was told to us that no, we're just Hamites or a bunch of Africans, you know, pretty much at the time, you know. They say something about slaves that knew who they really were, and then they came down, kind of got together, and that's where Abba Bivens came from. There's a whole deep history, you know. Vocab and those guys. I mean, he's a CIA agent. I mean, he knows way more than us. You know? Like the deep histories of it, because he goes around and searches for that stuff. You know. I remember Elder Pastor said something like that, but don't quote me. Verse 4, God shall take up his proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. Right? The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He will smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger and persecuted and none hindered. Right? The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. That's right. You know, and this is talking about America, man. It's the same nation. America's the golden nation, man. And America has all the rulerships today. Right? You know, pretty much you could prove that this talk about America is Isaiah 14:22. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord, host, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord, which is going to come. You know, well, for one, they're going to die here in America. They're all going to die here, right? But pretty much it's all going to come down in Obadiah 1:18 eventually, and after they're put into slavery. And I'll also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I'll soothe it with the besom of destruction, saith the Lord of hosts. All right, so pretty much it's going to be, you know, position for the bitter and pools of water. So let's see here what that is. Verse 23. Porcupine marshes, right? So porcupine is the bitter, right? And pools of water is marshes. So it's going to be like marshland, you know, that desolate land and wilderness is what this country is going to be left as, right? You know, which is the same thing you can read about in Revelations. Testimony, spirit of prophecy. Well, yeah, I might as well read this. This is the book of Revelation 17:15. Say unto me, the watch thou saw, for the horse sitteth, talking about America. Our peoples and multitudes of nations in tongue, and the 10 horns thou saw upon the beast, ye shall eat them all. I shall make a desolate naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Right? Burn her fire with the nuclear missiles. Make her desolate and where there's no generations that's going to come back. Right? So that's one. And if I don't find it, you know, out of memory, you know, you brothers can go ahead and look it up for yourself. But it's in there, you know. How it's pretty much going to be burnt up. And pretty much no one's going to dwell there for generation to generation. But, you brothers can go look that up. You brothers, you know what you're doing. But, so this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and 6. Right, actually, yeah. He was with the people in wrath, but continue to shrink it up with the nations anger. Was persecuted, not hindered, right? And now America rule the nations in anger. You know, look at the war on terror. You know, it was just like every other year they would just come after a different, you know, Middle Eastern country. You know, spoil them whenever, you know, one of their CIA assets in the Middle East started to act up. What did they do? They went out there and caused the war, and then they had the leader hanged. You know, time after time. What's up, Howard? Some water. Okay. We're good money. Right, the whole earth is at rest and is quiet, they break forth from the singing. Yea, the fir trees, the cedars of Lebanon, saying, thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Right, it's talking about the different nations. Hell, that goes back to Genesis, I believe the second chapter. Basically, you know, we put on the fig leaves. You know, it talks about the trees and stuff like that. Pretty sure it's in one of them. It's somewhere. Let me see what precepts they have here, though. Ezekiel 31. Let's see if that's in Ezekiel, the 31st chapter. I mean, it's looking like I may not actually be able to get into everything I wanted to. So, I mean, I already talked about the article. I may not actually get into the article today and actually make the call. Plus, it's just turned into an Esau rebuke session. 31. 16. Yeah, Ezekiel chapter 31. Yeah, actually, honestly, I don't even gotta go there. I could just start from the top. All the fowls that haven't made their nest in his bowls. That's all here. Therefore, his height, Ezekiel 31 and 5. Therefore, his height was exceeded, was exalted above all the trees of the field, and his bowls were multiplied, his branches became long, because of the multitude of the waters which he shot forth, our nations. We're talking about Adam, our people, right? Because there's a lot of people here. All the fowls of heaven made their nests in his bowls, and under his branches do all the beasts of the field, bring forth the young, and under his shadow dwell all great nations. Thus was he fair in his greatness, and the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. Right? The cedars in the garden of the Most High could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his bowls. The chestnut trees were not like his branches. The only tree in the garden of God was like him, like unto him in his beauty. Right? Talking about the Adamites, the Son of God. Right? They were basically the exalted nation upon the planet Earth, above all people. Right? In other words, the Adamites were basically the Israelites back then. They were the exalted people. Likewise, we're going to be the exalted people in this world now. Is that? Come on, man, get off that. You know, likewise, we're going to be the exalted people on the planet Earth. Right? So, yeah, I forgot about Ezekiel 31. This is a beautiful chapter right here. It's Genesis 3 and 8. This book of Genesis 3 verse 8. Genesis 3 and 8. And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, right? And also the Lord, you know, how does the Lord speak? He speaks through his men, the prophets, right? When you look into the word cool, it means a prophetic spirit. So basically there's a prophet going around back there. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God among the trees of the garden, right? And the trees of the garden are talking about the other nations. Pretty much Ezekiel 31 essentially proves that. That's what's being talked about. You know, we couldn't hide among the other nations. The Lord still picked us out through that prophet. The prophet curses us out, you know, and says, hey man, you know, y'all sinned, y'all went off, and you know, I'm gonna get you. You know? And that's when we start to die off. Die. Right? This book of Ezekiel 14, verse 9, held beneath, from beneath is moved to meet thee at thy coming, and stirring up the dead for thee, giving all the chief ones of the earth, and raised up from their thrones all the kings of the earth. Right? Hell from beneath is moved to meet thee. Right? So the grave is moved wide open for you. And you can join all the nations in the grave. Right? You know, pretty much the grave is the lowest state one could possibly be in, and that's what it represents. When it talks about hell. All right? Hell is not talking about actual hell, or the idea of all hell is some alternate world. I bring this out a million times, but 2nd and 4th chapter talks about chambers of souls, man. You know, the chambers of souls is you know, that's where you go. It's heaven. Heaven is just chamber of souls. You die, you go to heaven, the spiritual world. You stay there 75 to 100 years. I'm pretty sure there's 1,000 years to the Lord's one day, so I'm pretty sure time probably moves slower up there, I would assume. But something like that. Don't quote me on that. All I know is that in the kingdom, time is going to move slower. Things like that. Not that that matters to us, because we're going to be immortal anyway. You know, we're always going to be in our physical peak. Right? There should be no death. You know, we should not cry no more. We should wipe our tears. That's what goes in the chapter. So, verse too much bad. You know, she from the earth has raised up the thrones of the kings of the nations, right? They always say, yeah, three to four generations. So that means chances are you're your great grandfather coming back, you know. So that means, as I always mention about myself, I look like a fucking Amalekite in my past life, you know. That is, if I be incarnated from the same line, I can be a completely different line, you know. I mean, you know, I might look like that. I might not even be a Judite, to be honest. I honestly don't know, you know. It's the second time I've had someone mistake. I'm always mistaken for being like a Latino or something. So, I mean, I might actually be Dominican or something, or Simeon or something. I don't even know it. Isaiah 14:10. Know that all they shall speak and say unto thee, thou also become weak as we, art thou become like unto us, right? Because America was a nation that brought down all the other nations upon the planet Earth. America, NATO, EU, you know, along with the different front organizations and nations that help to increase their hegemony, such as the International Monetary Fund, different, you know, NGOs and different organizations like that, pretty much used to increase American domination across the planet Earth. America's their golden city, it's their land that they bankrolled, got to increase, you know. I can't remember his name, was Solomon something, but pretty much you've always had big bankers involved within American politics. Even the Civil War, you had bankers on both sides of the Civil War, you know. So America's always been you know, basically a golden child of the elite, you know. Verse 14, thy pomp, which means like your prize brought down to the grave, which is hell, right? Hell and the grave is the same thing. The noise thy bowels, the worm is spread under thee, and the worm is covering. Now, if hell is some sort of definition, is some sort of, you know, alternative dimension or some pit under the earth where it burns, why I talked about the grave in the next few verses? Because hell and the grave are the same thing. How thou fall from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How thou cut down to the ground, which is speaking the nations? Right? And Lucifer pretty much means light bearer, or bearer of the light. Right? You know, Aaron's name also means bearer of the light. You know, so this means they're a false light bearer. They claim that they hold the light, but in reality they hold darkness. You know, and how they claim to hold the light, they come out here with this false Christianity stuff. You know, which Christianity was always used as a tool, you know, by Edom to control our people. Pretty much it's mental manipulation and you know, a tool of domination. I mean, Christianity is a weapon. You know, Christianity is basically weaponized religion. You know, them setting up their own seminaries and things and stuff down here is just pretty much to establish national lines within America. Because remember, America, you know, you had it by different nations in America. You had British, you had Spanish, you had French, Dutch, all kinds of different nations down here, and they needed to split up, you know, their territory, mark their land. Which is what they did through setting up colleges and through setting up, you know, religious schools and things for the training. You know. Isaiah 14:13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne upon the stars of God. I will sit upon the mountain congregation in the sides of the north. Right? In the sides of the north, I was talking about America. And I believe in that word north, it goes to a dreary, unknown place, which is what America was back then. America was a dreary, well, I won't say dreary, it was an unknown, mysterious place. It's only now that they've kind of taken root and conquered this place entirely that America's become that dreary land, like what the North is in Hebrew. You know? It's pretty much the North is an unknown kind of territory. Remember, this is a land where never mankind dwelt. Everything down here was a mystery. You know, that's why you had things like Lewis and Clark and all those expeditions and things like that. And this place was unknown. They had a Jake that to teach them everything. Lewis and Clark. So he's a black guy. which they lied and said that he was a drunkard or he died or something, but you know, it's probably untrue. They say that Black Guy was actually the one calling the shots for that expedition. Right? So, verse 14, I'll ascend above the heights of the cloud, I will be like the Most High, right? And that's what they think of themselves in their hearts, right? You know, Esau, Edom has a long history of doing things like that, going back to Alexander the Greek. He thought he was a god. You know, Julius Caesar, he wanted to deify himself. Augustus, they venerated him as damn near god. You know, all the Caesars venerated themselves as gods. You know, what do you call them? Caligula tried to erect a statue within our temple. You know, so it's they have a long history of doing stuff like this. You know, the elites, the bankers, they think of themselves as God. They have all the power in the world. You know. And that's why they have these legislations and things where they want to control your body, different mandates, telling you how you need to control your health, right? All these jabs and stabs and all this stuff, tell you to put these needles in you, you know? They're gonna push down the, you know, the microchip on the people, right? That's them playing God, acting like they're God, right? I'll send above the heights of the clouds, and I'll be like the Most High, right? And clouds, literal clouds, okay, so that's what they've done. They've gone into space. You know, they have satellites and things like that. They think themselves as their God. You know? So, if that should be brought down to hell, to the side of the pit, brought down to the grave. Right? They that shall Odysee shall merely look upon thee and consider thee, saying, "Is this the man that made them tremble, that did shake kingdoms?" And that's right. You know, that's what America did. That's all these nations are going to say. It's just a nation that had us in jeopardy. You know? Because, like I said before, pretty much America is going down. You know, this nation's heading for a fall. As we talked about before, the OPEC nations, don't want to set up their own currency is only going to lead to America's destruction, which it's going to affect our economy. It's going to affect the prices of oil and gas, which that's already gone up, right? And it's only going to get worse from here. So we're going to get 2nd Esdras, 6th chapter. This book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 6. Verse 22. Right, so I'll go start here. This is the book of 2nd Esdras 6, verse 20. And when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show you these tokens, like the age that shall be end. I'll show you these tokens. The book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together. Right, and that's pretty much this is talking about how in space, you know, because these satellites are basically able to communicate a long distance. That's what it's talking about here. But we can go double check that. Let's double check that right now. Because it's good to double check these things to make sure you're 100% correct. Never settle for less. You know? Never settle for less. When it comes to truth, always get the exact precept answered for everything. So, you know, let's go ahead to 2nd Esdras, 6th chapter, and yeah, pretty much knowledge opened the internet. Now the books are open. Was it Revelation, the 5th chapter? The books are opened. Yahushua loosed the seals of the books, you know, and then that started with Abba Bivens, because, you know, Yahushua prophesied. He spoke of how, you know, Abba Bivens, Elijah will have to come back and restore all things. He's going to come back again. I think that's, he said that in Matthew, the 17th chapter, you know. So that's pretty much that, right? Verse 21, the children of Yero shall speak with their voices, The woman shall bring forth untimely children, 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. So it's pretty much talking about how knowledge shall be increased, man shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Like it talks about in Daniel, the 12th chapter. So knowledge has in fact been increased. We know a lot more nowadays. Children that are 3 or 4 months old can't absolutely survive. But even though they have a high chance of death, there's a high mortality rate, they can still survive. I know that guy's I could tell. Verse 22, and then shall the sown place appear unsold, the full storehouses shall be found empty. Right, that's going to happen because commodities are going to rise up. Pretty much everything is going to rise up. All the prices are going to rise up. International trading partners are going to change, and pretty much the U.S. dollar is going to lose hegemony and its power over the planet Earth. So full storehouses are going to appear empty. Pretty much famines and less supplies, less commodities for people to get. Prices are going to rise. The value of the dollar is going to depreciate, and things are pretty much going to get worse. So I didn't really talk about the article yet, but honestly, I made my point yesterday. Already, I may go home and I may talk about it again, or I may do a deep dive when I get home, because basically what I was going to get is the ancient Roman Empire. There's a financial collapse in Tiberius's time, which is around about 37 AD roundabout, or 33 Common Era, and basically connecting it to how America had its financial collapse. How they were talking about how government collapse was nearly avoided. A government collapse happened in ancient Rome, and it's gonna come here again. The same problems ancient Rome had, rampant usury. The same problems America has. So I'm gonna say Kalayma, double honors to the elders and apostles, the great millstone, GMS, the rule and teach well. My brother here, Shamash One, Ban Yahawada, signing out.